Ghost of Yotei is out. No one really cares, but Sony fanboys want you to care. And if you don't, then you're not a gamer. Yes, you are not a gamer if you don't consume every piece of AAA slop that arrives at your digital doorstep. What you gonna do when Sony companies run wild on you, brother? Is it a success? Is it a good game? Are you a bad person if you decided not to buy it? Apparently that's the route they're taking here. Let's talk about it. The long wait for the Ghost of Tsushima sequel is over. The long wait for the continuation of Jin Sakai's story is over. Finally! And it arrived in the form of put a chick in it, make it lame, and make it gay. I'm not even joking, they really did, but more on that later. But yes, unless you were hiding under a rock this last year, Ghost of Yotei is one of the most talked about games on the internet this year. First, they replaced the beloved hero from the first game with a woman, which is a red flag, not because they're a woman, but because what that usually means. I got an idea. Let's do another origin story, but this time with a woman. Because of representation, I know. I don't know how I come up with these. Yes, a gender swap for a series very rarely results in anything good because it's always done for the wrong reasons. Representation. Now, does that mean that all games with a female lead are bad? Yes. No, of course not. Does it mean that when decisions are made purely for representational reasons, not based on what it means for the story, you'll most likely end up with a bad game? Yes. Look, they just want to see a woman beat some ass, beat some dudes up. Show that women can, indeed, lead games. Are you allowed to point out that we've had many strong women written in video games? No, you're not allowed to point that out. They were sexualized. They weren't written in good faith. They weren't written by women. They don't show the women taking down the patriarchy. So look, when gamers see male character replaced by a woman, they expect the worst. Oh no! This series had a good run. It's been fun. It usually means that activism has infested the studio and the story will suffer as a result, because they can't help themselves but heavy-handedly insert their leftist themes in these games. I think I speak for most of us when I say that we were still open to it. I wasn't happy with the lack of gin, but let's see if they cook up some prime steak like last time. Or is it going to be a disgusting meal like what the Baker family tried to force feed me in Resident Evil 7? I'd love to say it stopped there. Controversy over. Except when we saw the lead actress for the game. Not only is she not particularly nice to look at, but 20 hours is a very long time to be looking at this. I think I'm doing it. I think the sword stopped. Did I win? Okay, I'll take a peek. I joke, but it was all over her social media how proud she was to be a leftist activist. Very open about it and proud to hate anyone that doesn't agree with her. Which, when you're trying to sell something, isn't the best idea. Every single one of your political opinions suck. You are the worst kind of people. Oh, look at that, the sales are going down. I guess gamers can't handle a woman being the lead. Then debates sparked on the internet. I made a few videos about it, how all roads lead to this game sucking major dick. There was some back and forth for a while. Then a tragedy happened. And one kind, beautiful soul with a heart of gold decided to take to Blue Sky, the hub of all things good, to celebrate this tragedy. And when you're a month away from your game releasing, not a good move. But everyone with a moral compass saw this and just said, you know what? I don't want to support anything this person is involved with. Backlash follows, she's fired, they eventually addressed it in an interview, so now what's the problem? It should all be good, right? But no, you see, she thought that this was a normal response to this tragic event. She thought she could post this and her career would be fine, which tells me that the environment at Sucker Punch is one of extreme activism, full of people who think it's okay to be violent with people who disagree with them. A nice little environment where they were all having a joke about the death of Charlie Kirk. That may not be the case, but from what I've seen, it's very likely. And did any Sucker Punch devs come out and say the most simple thing? I condemn any of my co-workers who think this is funny and a cause for celebration. Please don't think we're all like that. She's just a crazy bitch. Not anything like that. But why am I going through this again? Clinic, you've talked about this before in previous videos. Yes, I have, but this is all all important information to remember. The amount of copium and lies around this game and the people who refuse to buy it is really starting to piss me off. Everything I just mentioned there is conveniently left out when people talk about the people that refuse to buy this game, by Sony fanboys and by journalists. But before we talk about how dumb all of that is, let's talk about the launch of the game. Ghost of Yotei launches to staggeringly high numbers with, hold up, oh that's weird. Oh, this is embarrassing, I'm sorry. We don't have any sales numbers to give you. I guess that's it, I'm sorry. But for reference, Ghost of Tsushima sold 2.4 million in its first 3 days. It's been 4 days at the time of recording and no such figures have been released. That is weird, a sequel is supposed to outperform its predecessor. The first game sold 13 million copies, that's 13 million potential customers waiting for a sequel. Now I'm not saying 13 million on day one, right? But 3 to 4 million, that seems about fair. Just considering how good the first game was. Now Sucker Punch could absolutely drop a post in the next few days saying 2 million sales within the first few days. And honestly, that's about what I would be expecting for this game. I was realistically looking at this game with the backlash and everything surrounding it that it could potentially make 7 million sales overall. Just over half of what the first game made over the next few months. But it doesn't look all that good for them. Wait, hold on. We may have numbers. Have we got numbers? We do got numbers. 1.3 million sales on its first day. 1.3 million! That's great for its first day, and that comes to us from random X account. I shall take this as gospel and use it to push my narrative. And shamelessly, that's exactly what some gaming news sites did. We don't hate them enough. That is piss poor journalism. Get a real job. Useless. They did it yet again and taking another tweet and pushing it out there like it's gospel. What we do have, what we can see with our eyes, is pictures being shared on social media of shelves of this game being full. Not selling out. This picture, not even one, is missing. Funny, but we can't take that as gospel, right? However, in the UK, games journalist Christopher Dring tells us the UK box launch for Ghost of Yotei is really, really good. It is number 1, which means it beat the second week of EA Sports FC 26 and sold almost 3 times what Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 on Switch did. That's impressive, so maybe it is doing well. So what does it mean when being compared to the first game, Chris? It's down about 40%, but I still find it impressive. Oh, down 40%. Oh. For other games, sure, success, but for this game, when the predecessor did 40% better, that's not good. It's meant to be the other way around. Port one out for Sony fans. They be crying tonight. Games journalism strikes again. Headlining the first part, physical releases in the UK. Isn't the most important part the down by 40%? Journalism, everyone. Trying to push a narrative. Down 40%, that is interesting. Let me put that down. What was it you said about selling more physical copies in the UK? Who cares? Since when has that been a metric to go by? They wonder why no one clicks on their dumb articles. But despite that, I am expecting a post soon to reveal that they did sell between 2 to 3 million copies. What I think will happen will be a big drop off in sales over time. A lot of people are desperate to support this game, not play and enjoy it. No, support it. And this is where we have to talk about the copium going on here. There is a lot of copium and just all around pettiness going on here. Sharing review scores, glazing the game left, right and center, while most of it is just sharing a screenshot, saying the game is beautiful, while at the same time the screenshots are making the game look like it's missing all the textures. Is this really what the PS5 is capable of now? I'm not sold on it, are you? But guess what? You can cook in this game. Yeah, how do you feel about that? It turns with my controller, game of the year. That's not even their best part. The best part is that people are genuinely really upset that people refuse to play this game. Like it's some personal attack. They're actually offended, while at the same time refusing to understand why people refuse to play this game. I genuinely feel bad for anyone that refuses to play video games with female protagonists. Y'all are missing out on some of the greatest games of the decade over nothing. There is a bunch like this, and these are all from gaming accounts that should have their fingers on the pulse of the gaming community. And all they're saying is, you just won't play it because the lead is a woman. You are a gaming account. How can you miss the mark this much? How? God, how can you not understand how simple this is? That account isn't the only one, by the way. There are loads of them. And all they're doing is coming off like Sony shills. And then funnier than that is they're not even being paid by Sony. They're getting their knee pads out for free. Defend the megacorp at all costs. We must defend Sony. Sony needs us. You see, guys, my boys, my beautiful subscribers, if you don't play this game, you're not gamers. It's as simple as that. If you don't play AAA games, then you are not a gamer. AAA games are the only games these accounts play, but you're not the gamer here. I posted this on social media. Not playing a game because it's not your style. Fine. Not playing a game because you don't like certain mechanics in games. Fine. Not playing a game because the lead actress supports a violent organization. You're not a gamer, and you're a horrible person. A bunch of reasons for not buying a game are fine. They're all fine. You do you, bro. You don't like all the stuff going on behind the scenes? How dare you? And you call yourself a gamer. That is wrong, apparently, and that is not a position you are allowed to have. And if you do buy a game, you better like it because, God forbid, you don't like something that someone else likes. Forget the replacement of Jin. Forget that the lead actress supports a violent organization that Trump recently called a terrorist organization. Forget that one of their staff openly celebrated Charlie Kirk's death. Forget all about that. You just hate women, and you are not a gamer. Unless you consume slop after slop from these megacorps, then you're not a gamer. My favorite strawman argument so far is focus on the game. What about the gameplay? It doesn't matter if the game is good. They don't care what happens behind the scenes as long as the game is good. Yet those same people will join in with everyone else when they start piling on Visa and MasterCard, letting them know that their agendas are not welcome in the gaming industry. But that would mean that if MasterCard or Visa opened up a gaming studio and made a game, they'd buy the game if the game looked good. That must be the case, right? Since it's always about gameplay. I mean, that better be the case, or that is some next level hypocrisy. But what exactly does it take for these people not to support a game? Let's say that a certain political party from about 80 years ago, led by a guy with a mustache, ruining that mustache for everyone, let's say they made a game. Let's say it was a good game, had good gameplay. Would they still buy it then? I mean, probably, man. These people are so dumb. It's an extreme example, yes, but seriously though, where is the line? Or is there just not one? Or is it as plain and obvious that you just agree with the political agendas going on there? I talked about this in my Wolverine video, but we're seeing more and more of it, and it's getting ridiculous. Gaslighting, deflecting. It's so clear and obvious to me that these people support these agendas. Saying you don't care about that behind the scenes stuff is the same as saying that you're not a gamer. Because if you were a gamer, of course you would care. Of course you would. I care a lot about who is behind the making of these games. I care a lot about the characters and stories that I care about being used to push political agendas. I'm tired of these narratives being used against gamers like you and me. They can't come out and say that they support these agendas. They can't think of an argument against us, so it's just deflect. You're not a real gamer. You don't play games. Real gamers care about gameplay. Only ugly old men care about women in games. So, what about the game? Glasses. Just joking, I didn't play this trash. I didn't spend money on it because of the reasons stated earlier. I wasn't gonna give these people my money. Kind of funny though, because I was planning on streaming this game for you so you could see my reactions to it. My first ever stream, that was the plan. Oh well, I can dream. Saying that, I have witnessed the game. I watched someone else play it, and it was like torture. I was torturing myself. I wanted to know what happened in this game so I could tell you what kind of game this was. And I can tell you what kind of game this is in just a few sentences. Spoilers in 1, 2, 3. Revenge is bad. Atsu's brother dies because of her mistakes, and she raises his baby with his wife. Yeah. Oh, I heard all of those eye rolls. Yes, that happens. The irony of a revenge is bad storyline coming from a studio where the staff openly celebrated Charlie Kirk's death is something, isn't it? It is just something. Maybe slow down on the preachiness there. And maybe should have kept the writers from the first game and not the writers from Dragon Age Veilguard. Maybe that would have been a better idea. Judge the game on its own merits. It's all so tiresome. Okay, it's a copy and paste job from the first game with a worse story. That about sums it up, right? And it's a direct result of what goes on behind the scenes. You see how the two things link? It's almost as if it's important who is working on these games. And it is fairly easy to not have this controversy surround your game. Believe it or not, it is actually quite easy. Oh, and you guys remember the dev who got fired for that post? Well, she's back posting this. As it turns out, my joke didn't make the game do any worse. My firing didn't make the game do any better. So really, the only thing that the harassment campaign succeeded in was sucking all the joy out of my life, so I guess that's a W. This is weird. No one wanted them fired because of how it would affect the performance of the game. Gamers wanted her fired because she was encouraging political violence. Consequences of actions. That must have been the reason Sucker Punch gave her, which means they don't actually care about what she said, and it's not a direct violation of the environment they're trying to build at Sucker Punch. It was all about performance. They fired her because of the backlash, a sacrificial lamb. They probably thought the joke was funny. That was funny, but you are fired. It wasn't us. Sony wants you gone. Something about sales. Apparently sales are important in our industry. Sony has got to stop with this nonsense. They got activists working for them all over the place. All they're doing is churning out the same stories, but somehow even worse than last time. The thing is, if your whole philosophy for your console that you're trying to keep people on because they are leaving, if that whole philosophy is games with great stories, you better make damn sure that the writers of these games are actually talented writers. You know, try not to end up with the same plot as Assassin's Creed Shadows. Stop with the political commentary. We do not care about their politics. They're entertainment, that's it. They're not here to clumsily push an agenda into everything we love. Now, there is a way to do political commentary in stories, but it's clear that the writers in the gaming industry have no idea how to do that. In the end, they're here to sell games. That's it. Maybe get back to that and people start using this ornament more. Do better, Sony. I'm not even part of this boycott. I guess I am, accidentally. I haven't pushed my audience not to buy it. People can play what they want. This game could sell 20 million. I'd still be saying the same things. If you did like it, let's be honest. If they did like it, they didn't make it this far in the video. You're not a gamer. Got him. Anyway, that's it from me. We could finally stop talking about this game. Finally! I'll see you in the next one.